Now, in the last video, we went over how to open up the project and do sound. So this one, we're going to go over how to actually edit the video and export. And if I want to just get a very specific amount of this clip, I can move my timeline to where I want it to start up here. And I can click this button, which is a mark in. I can go to where I want it to end and click here, which is mark out, and then drag this to the timeline. Now, right now I have a very expanded view of my timeline. Up here is my zoom in and zoom out. I can shrink that so that I can see the different clips. If I want them to be on different tracks, I would just drag it above. And if I want them to be on the same track, I would drag it below. I can cut my clips by using the razor blade tool, which is up here. And I can also use the shortcut keys. Anytime I roll my mouse over, it's going to tell me what the tool is called and what the shortcut key is. So I could go B, blade, cut this if I wanted. I can go to here, A, my select tool. Now, if you're someone who's more comfortable in working in kind of that iMovie look, my cuts will transfer between my cut mode and my edit mode. And I know it's a little confusing. This is called cut mode, but it really is just to get those cuts in. So if I wanted to do another split here, I could just move this so that in Premiere it's called a current time indicator. But I guess you could just say your marker is where I want the clip to be cut. And then right here I've got a cut tool. I can clip. And then if I wanted, I could select this, I could delete it. And just to show you, once again, I'm going to go back to edit mode. If I do that cut, I could select this area and I could hit delete. And what that will do is it will delete the clip and shift everything up. So I know in the very beginning of this clip, it took me a while to start talking, so I could delete that area. I can also add transitions. If you think about a fade in or fade out, that's going to be called the additive dissolve. It's very zoomed out, so it'll be hard to actually see me put it on. So I would zoom that in and drag my clips over. That's how I can add transitions. Generally, just make sure to use one transition. You could also do a cross dissolve, but remember, if your clip that you put in the timeline goes all the way to the end of what you recorded, if your clip is 10 seconds and you stop it at 10 seconds, you actually need a couple seconds for the dissolve to change. So if you go right to that 10 seconds, you usually can't use a dissolve because there's nothing to dissolve into. So you would need to cut that clip down to maybe 9:55 and then put the cross dissolve on. The other thing you can do for these generators is you have a ton of different special effects. And the one you're going to use the most probably isn't an effect or generator at all, it's a title. So if I wanted this to just be a text title at the beginning, I could just grab text. I can put it above if I want it to overlap my video. If I want it to replace my video, I would drag it on the same place and it will just copy over it. If I wanted it above it, I would just drag it on top. So once I put my time indicator there, you'll notice here's my title. And then if I double click on it kind of slowly, there we go, you'll get this rich title area and you can just rename it. So this might be OBS Studio for Education. And you can use this like a word processor. We can change the color of the font. I didn't really actually change it, sorry about that. I guess if I was going opposite gray, gray's kind of a hard one to find the opposite of. I can change the font size, the font type, and it has a lot of the common ones. And a lot of these said you can reset if you want to go back to it. You can also add those effects that make it a little easier to read. So if you wanted like a stroke around the text, if you went to here, you could go size and just increase the size of that stroke and you'll have an outline around your text now. If I wanted to add a drop shadow, once again, I could go through and I could add the drop shadow, or I could not add the drop shadow, depending. So I just want to change those settings. Obviously, if you click it and it's red, it's on. If it's gray, it's off. So right now it's defaulting to everything, so you could go ahead and turn a lot of them off if you wanted. And if you noticed, when I put it over, I had that black background. You can get rid of backgrounds as well.